Hello and welcome to another episode of Rappler Talk Entertainment. I'm your host, entertainment reporter Juno Reyes, and today we're here with singer-songwriter and Mori. Hi Anna, welcome back to the Rappler HQ.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, it's so great to have you back. It's been about 5 months since your live jam appearance. So
yes, it's been 5
very
months.
Excited. Yeah,
that's
December,
a
right?
long time.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that it's already 5 months. It's been the time has been flying by so fast.
And I actually just rewatched your live jam performance the other day. And it was cool. You were doing everything on your own, even the thing on the laptop, like the keys.
The thing on the laptop. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get right to it.
Yeah.
So first things first, you develop an interest in composition and songwriting at the age of 10. So how did you discover that you had a talent for these things at such a young age?
Oh, I did not know that I have talents at all, honestly. I just started playing the piano because that's the only thing that I liked. And I think my parents thought that that's the only thing I'm interested in. And I remember, my mom had a old piano that she was using when she was a child.
Yeah.
She just had it in the house. And me and my grandpa, actually, who passed away already, he was the one who kind of brought me to the piano chair and then, letting me play the keys a little bit. And I started playing my favorite songs on the radio. And I think that's when my grandpa was like, oh, maybe she would be great too.
So
Put her in the piano lesson.
Your grandpa that brought out your interest in piano?
Yeah, I think it was nice that my mom had a old piano in the house, and my mom was a kind of like a piano player as a hobby, but never pursued or anything. And yeah, when I started playing the keys with my favorite songs, they were like, okay, she has nothing better to do, so let her put her into the music school or whatever that I'm interested in. And yeah, so I started playing the piano with my teacher, who was just like down the blocks, and that's how I kind of learned how to play. And that's when I started writing music. Yeah.
Amazing. So when did you get into singing in particular?
Ooh. For singing, so I've done so much, when it comes to piano playing, I've pursued my piano career or whatever, and I was interested in playing the piano more than singing before. And I remember, I think it was in college that it kind of hit me where I was learning jazz at that time, and I wanted to incorporate something that's different from the sound of the keys.
Yeah.
So not just songwriting, but also I was experimenting with different types of keys, like synthesizers and everything. But, nothing really clicked. And when I had my songwriting, kind of things started. I've always been interested in songwriting, but I never got to confidently do it because I've always thought, it's just a hobby.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to try it out since I had like a little finals going on and I had to submit a song, not just an instrumental. So yeah, with that, like it kind of pushed me to do something out of my comfort zone. Yeah, so that's how I started singing.
So you've been in music for a really long time, for over a decade now, since you started playing piano with your grandfather and also because of your mom's old piano at home.
Yeah.
So who or what are some of the influences that have shaped your music to what it is now?
There's so many, if I trace back, there's so many influences, but I think, one of the things that I was very I understood the beauty of music is when I got into classical music. It's one of those things where, it was part of me a lot. Like composers like Vivaldi and these kind of, old 1700s composers. Those were the ones that really got me started to really understand music as a part of art and not just, a note that just brings you, the note that just plays. It's a piece of art. And yeah, that's one of the inspirations. A lot of, classical composers. Also, maybe I got into pop more when the first time I listened to Queen on the radio, and also from my dad's CD. Those times where you make your own mixtapes and then you put your cover arts and stuff like that. My dad was obsessed doing those, and I've always wanted to do it, but I just didn't know how to create that. But I remember one of those CDs had Queen in it, and that's when I really got into, oh wow, I could incorporate classical elements or what I've learned throughout classical to make it into more accessible music, which is popular music, which is really cool, and also in the rock scene as well. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into my biggest inspiration. Yeah.
Okay. So you've been releasing music on online platforms since 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and you already have 2 full-length albums under your belt.
Yeah.
Given this, what helps you get in the zone when creating music?
Ooh, what get me into the zone? I think, throughout writing and creating, I think one of the misconceptions is the inspiration just falls off on your shoulders and just happens, right? And I've always thought that, I've always kind of been waiting and something to hit or something to gravitate towards in my life. But I think constantly, being face to face with your creation every day is such an important thing. Constantly, sitting down and writing, and I think that's what keeps me going when it comes to writing. Is that I just have to show up every time, even though there's nothing to write about. It's nice to sit down with your notebook or with your keyboard or anything with it and just write something, even it's garbage sometimes. Yeah.
So the inspiration really just comes randomly, right? You can't anticipate when you'll...
And I think that, inspiration wouldn't be an inspiration that would work with you when you don't show up as well. And it's not you could just wait in the couch and wait for the knock on the door, you know what I mean? So you have to kind of actively search for that as well. Yeah.
Okay. So zeroing in on your roots, you're a Filipino-Japanese artist. So you grew up in Japan, but your music career really took off here in the Philippines. So how are you able to celebrate both your cultures through your music?
Oh, it's such a weird combination, but for me, it's such a, I don't know, it's a personal thing when I create music, is that, both my how I grew up with cultural differences and language and all of that. I really try my best to kind of incorporate it in my art, because it just naturally comes out anyway. But highlighting that is such a treat for me to do when it comes to music making. And especially when I was living in Japan, I was listening to a lot of local music, J-pop, popular music, and other music that was existent in Japan, such as ballads. I think a lot of people listen to city pop, Japanese city pop as well. That's one of those turning points that I got into 80s music and appreciated 80s music. And I think that you could hear it from some of my records that has kind of that 80s feel. But also, I was very, very obsessed with Western music. And a lot of times that I wanted to write a song in English so that it's a lot more, I can reach broader, more audiences. And I just really like to incorporate both culture and also language. Sometimes you'll hear me speaking in Japanese in some of my tracks as well. I think it's naturally there. You just have to kind of pick it up from it. Yeah.
So speaking of performing, you've been performing for quite a while now, and you've experienced doing so in more intimate setups like bars. But you've also performed in bigger stages like Wonderland, which I watched you perform in. Congratulations!
Thank you.
It was super good
I hope you
performance.
enjoyed.
Yeah, and you also performed recently in South by Southwest in 2023.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
So,
2023.
like, how different is it performing on smaller stages compared to bigger ones? Like, are the
Yeah.
stakes higher? Do you get more nervous?
Oh, I get more nervous with smaller stages.
Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Big stages. At the end of the day, it's not really the size of the stage that really intimidates me. But if you can't impress 10 people in the room, how can I impress 100 people in a field? And it's something that I've always kept in mind, and keep on reminding myself that I have to impress 10 people for me to be able to impress all of these people. And I think I just find it hard to perform in the smaller stages because you can't, I guess there's nothing but you in the room, and catching that attention, and also a lot more intimate setting, which is 10 people, right? So it's a lot more challenging as an artist to perform with smaller stages like that. But Wonderland and South by Southwest, I think it was a different experience. For Wonderland, one of my biggest stages that I've ever performed, and it was such a surreal moment because I've watched Wonderland before as an audience, but never as a performer, and having to kind of carry that big stage is such a responsibility.
Yeah.
And you have 30 minutes to showcase, and I just did my best to take all the minutes that I have to connect with people. And I think that that was a challenging part, but also a satisfying one because I can get to see people jumping and all of that. And South by Southwest was such a challenging set because I've never performed in the US, and that was one of the things that I've always wanted to do but never got the chance to until South by Southwest. And I knew when I got South by Southwest, it's something that is such a bucket list for a lot of artists to perform there. It's kind of like a gateway of a lot of artists. And definitely I was really feeling pressured, and I really wanted to make it worthwhile for myself. And it was just such a surreal moment to see people that doesn't really know me at all just enjoying. And that's really the power of music. It's such a witness. I witnessed the power of music throughout the South by Southwest event. So it was such a kind of like turning point as an artist, my career, and also artistically. It's such a good reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually curious because
Yeah.
South by Southwest and Wonderland, they're really big festivals in their respective countries.
Right.
So is there like a difference between the crowd, the Filipino crowd and the American crowd? Like, is it more difficult?
Oh,
to-
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Filipino crowds are so fun. People are just here to have a good time.
Yeah.
So they will just party. Their energy is so up there, which is really nice because it's such a good assurance. Like, okay, you're enjoying.
Yeah.
So that's great, So I think it's like a pros and cons for both. American, what do you call that? Audiences are a lot more reserved, but they really try to listen, which I really appreciate. They really try to listen as much as they can, and they'll give a compliment after, which is really, really nice. I think both are amazing, and it's such an incredible moment to kind of experience both. But that's kind of like one of the difference. Filipino crowds are always fun, such a party people.
Yeah. I was actually at Wonderland. I was there at your set, and I was observing the people in the crowd, and they were all jumping, and then they were all, every time you would say, make some noise, they really would.
They will make some noise. And it's nice to kind of feel that, response, the give and take with the audience. It's always nice to perform with a Filipino crowd because they're just fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sure.
Okay, so with that, can you share what your favorite thing is about performing on stage?
Oh, I think the favorite thing. There's so many things that is quite amazing to just be on a platform. It's like it's such a surreal moment to be able to showcase something to people and kind of, get the feedback. But I think that the most thing that I really look forward to when I'm on stage is really I just think about nothing on stage. It's nice to just be blank and just be so just raw when it comes to I'm so vulnerable on stage, and it's like that's something that I just enjoy to do, because I don't think day to day that's kind of like my release in a sense. And to be able to connect with audience is one of my favorite things as well, to kind of see person face to face and being able to kind of have that connection with people, because usually nowadays a lot of people just listen to audio files and go into these platforms and watch videos and stuff like that. But it's such a rare time that at this time, me and you are connected with what I'm singing and you are chanting back, and that's such a rare and such an incredible connection that I can have with audience, that I can do it just that now. So it's for me, it's such a treat for artists to have that platform. So those are the things I enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, so zeroing in now on your music, you won the Album of the Year for Don't Blame the Wild One during the Awit Awards 2023, and it was also named NME's Top 1 Best Asian Album of 2022. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
So can you share what it was like putting the whole album together, from composing and writing the songs to deciding which songs get to make the final cut?
Ooh. Well, to be honest, those are the songs that I already have. So it was not that hard to choose which one to put, because this is all I've got. Put it all, But I think when it comes to writing, it's very important. When I make album, it's such an important thing to have that cohesive album, because it is a piece of just collective of art, what I mean? So it's like a binder of one section of your life. And I think choosing which songs that will come first and then which one will be last, those are the things I really critically thought about. And throughout writing, most of the songs were written during the COVID pandemic. So I had a lot of time in my hands, which was really nice. It was, just me and my table, and that's pretty much, what I got that time. So, it was such a good, I guess, retreat for myself to kind of really mirror myself with the art. And it was such a great moment. I love writing. It's just one of my favorite things as an artist to do. I think sometimes more than performing, I just love making. And it was a fun time. But also, when it comes to album, I didn't really. I just wanted to write the song that came into me, rather than picking from what I've done so far. It was something that very current. I wanted to make sure that the album was a lot, current, and it really reflects what I was feeling at that moment. So, yeah.
You were in Japan, right, when you were writing the album?
Yes, I was with my family in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was really, separated from all my musical friends and all of that. So just me and my computer.
How was that, being separated from everyone in the Philippines?
Oh, I was sad.
Really?
It was sad. It was lonely. And I think a lot of people, I think it helped because many people were just in their houses and not communicating. But if it was just me, I would be really, really sad. But yeah, it was, it was a good time to kind of reflect myself and like, okay, what is my sound? Because that's the Don't Blame the album, Don't Blame the Wild One album was also my way of kind of understanding what I really wanted to do as an artist. It was such a reflective album for me because that kind of solidified my direction as an artist, like my definition as an artist. And yeah, I just needed that moment of just isolation. So it helped, yeah.
Okay, so zeroing in now on your more recent releases, you recently just released your single Heartache Generation, and that came after you performed on Rappler Live Jam.
Yes.
Yeah, so can you maybe share the story behind the song and sing us a few lines from it as well?
So Heartache Generation. So the funny thing is, Heartache Generation, I had like the little demo of Heartache, but it was a totally different direction and all of that. But I had it beforehand. Like it was, I think I wrote it 2020, maybe around COVID as well. And I've never worked on it. Just forgot about it, that it that it even existed. It was just something that to put in the shelf and never look back. But after releasing the album, I went through my files and I found Heartache Generation, the demo, and yeah, it just sparked me something. I was just inspired to rework on the song. And Tim, who's a co-producer, he also worked on it together with me to kind of make a different version of Heartache Generation and a different feel after the album. It's a song about, when, I don't know if you feel that way as well, but when your birthday's coming up, and then you kind of flash back to all the things that you've done so far this year, and you greatly regret it. What you've done so far is not enough sometimes. And I think a lot of the times, especially young adults feel that way. We live in a hustle culture, which is good, but also bad mentally sometimes. And we're pressured to kind of achieve something that it's so not that important. It's nothing to look forward to. And I just wanted to write a song that would kind of remind me of that. I should just live in the moment instead of thinking what's gonna happen the next or looking back and not doing anything. So should I sing it? Like, just a clip. Well, would you like the chorus?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So it goes, forget about it, think about it now. Heartache generation, I forgot the face and no perfume. Forget about it, think about it now. Heartache generation, so bad it's perfect, don't you take my moment.
That was amazing.
Thank you very much.
Ayun, so for NS listeners, balikan nyo na lang tong clip na to if you want to hear the a cappella version of Heartache Generation.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so more on the song. The music video was shot entirely on a pair of meta glasses.
Yes.
Which is really cool. I was able to watch the shoot as well.
Yeah, you were there, yeah.
You did it in one take, right?
Yes, I did, in one take. And it was such a cool material, something that it was foreign material for me to use, because usually music videos has nice cameras and nice equipment, and I don't really have to think about what's happening. But one of the meta people came at us with an idea that maybe we can use these glasses, Ray-Bans, and I kid you not, the quality of these glasses are amazing. You can see it really clearly, and you'll be able to watch it on YouTube how it looks like. But we took it in one take. Most of them are all choreographed. It's just heavy in choreography. We were able to kind of figure out a way to just do it in one take with all the creative directions and stuff. And I've always wanted to do a one-take video. I just thought that was really, really cool. And yeah, to be able to do that with a glasses, which I love wearing, yeah, it was such a surreal moment, and it's an exciting project for me to kind of dive into. Yeah.
So during the music video shoot, there were a lot of people that were watching it get filmed in real time.
Yeah.
And you did it all in one take. So how did that feel? Like, did you get nervous? Or...
Oh yeah, I was so nervous. I thought I'm gonna mess up. I thought I'm gonna like just fall off, because there was like a literal like very steep stairs that I have to like go down. So I was really hoping that I wouldn't trip and fall and embarrass myself or like just, you know, make a mistake and all of that. But we were able to practice, which practice makes it perfect, kind of. And yeah, I was very nervous if you couldn't tell. With my face.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell. It was really good.
Okay, then that's great. But yeah, you know, a lot of the team of Heartache Generation was just, you know, everybody was just hardworking, and just the creative direction. They were able to incorporate what I like in the music video, and yeah, we just worked really well, and that was just the best experience. Yeah, working with them.
Okay, so while it hasn't been too long yet since Heartache Generation was released, what's next for Mori? Like, do you have any other special projects that fans can look forward to, or any exciting future plans you'd like to share?
Well, I'm writing now. I'm writing, and hopefully, you know, I could be able to release some singles this year. That will lead up to the album, hopefully. Yeah, and there are some shows coming up this year that will be very exciting. I also have a show in Korea in June, so that's also a very exciting part. I haven't been in Korea and performed in, I think, 5 years before COVID, so it was like 2019, I think, 2019 or 2018. And that was the only time that I went to Korea to perform. So I'm very excited to go back, and yeah, just stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so,
it.
Before we close off, would you like to give a message to your listeners?
Hi, listeners. Thank you for just always listening to my music and coming to my shows. It's just nice to see you guys face to face and talk to you about, you know, how the song made you feel. And, you know, I'm just very grateful the fact that I could get to do this and showcase my art every single day to, you know, and connect with people. So thank you so much. And I hope that you'll keep on staying tuned. I'm writing, so hopefully I'll be able to release it. And yeah, I'm so excited to see you guys again in shows. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. That was actually the last of our questions already. Thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you so much, Rappler.
Really happy to have you back again after your live jam performance. Yeah, we had a lot of fun getting to know more about you and your music.
Yay, thank you. Thank you, Rappler. It was nice to come back.
So this wraps up today's episode of Rappler Talk Entertainment. If you'd like to stay updated on the latest happenings in music and all things entertainment, head over to the Pop Culture channel in the Rappler Communities app. The app is free to download on iOS and Android. You can scan the QR codes from your screens. Once again, I'm your host, Juno Reyes. Thank you so much for tuning in.